Thursday, July 20th, 2023. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Kroll, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Heikela is not here. Commissioner Knobloch,
Present.
Commissioner Casey,
Here.
Commissioner Schmolke,
Here.
Commissioner Geisler,
Here.
and Chair Schwartz.
Here. Thank you. Before we adopt the agenda, I just want to make a comment to everyone that Commissioner Bradley has resigned from the commission and is moving out of state. We wish him well and thank him for his years of service. All right, now we have the agenda to adopt.
Chair Schwartz,
Commissioner Knobloch.
move to adopt the agenda as is.
Second.
Motion by Knobloch, second by Schmolke. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. Next, we have approval of the June 15th, 2023 minutes.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion by Casey, second by Geisler. Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. All right, our first order of business this evening is planning case 22-11, a site plan extension for Tronson Apartments at 1354 121st Avenue Northwest, Palmer Architects. Mr. Kroll.
All right, good evening, Planning Commission. Just wanted to give some of the highlights here. So again, this property is at 1354 121st Ave Northwest. It's currently zoned moderate density residential. So if you'll recall, back on July 21st of 2022, you all have granted site plan approval to Palmer Architects to build a 31-unit townhouse development. And then there are kind of a number of conditions there that are in the staff report. In our code, site plan approval is valid for 1 year. We typically kind of think about that as they kind of have a year to start submitting their building permits and getting in that process or starting construction on the site. But from written application from the applicant, the Planning Commission can recommend, and then the City Council has final approval to extend a site plan up to 1 additional year. As long as it, kind of is still consistent with the current zoning and it meets those city code standards. And so the applicant has requested a 1-year extension on their site plan. I just had some images here to help kind of refresh on that project. This is really just kind of due to some of the wetland impacts on the site, and so they've been going through their Coon Creek Watershed District approval process, and it's just taking a little bit longer and is a little bit more involved given the site and kind of the development on the site. So that's kind of their main reason for requesting site plan approval. I made a note since that time. They have addressed condition 8. I know it was a big point of discussion around providing a children's play area on the site, and they have updated their site plan to show a children's play area. And then the other conditions are really ones that we kind of work with them before we would approve any building permit. So a lot of those different comments, a site security agreement, park dedication, having that property maintenance agreement, those are things that we typically work with them when they submit their building permit, and before we approve that, we'll make sure those are all addressed. So kind of with that, staff felt nothing else has changed, so it still meets the zoning code. It met the zoning code when it was approved. Nothing's changed there. And so we were recommending approval for the 1-year extension on the site plan to July 21st, 2024. And again, that would go to the City Council at their next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Kroll. Commission, any questions for Mr. Kroll? All right. What's the commission's thoughts and/or motions?
I will make a motion, Mr. Chair.
All right,
In planning case 22-11, I move that we recommend approval of a one-year extension of the site plan approval to July 21st, 2024.
I'll second it.
motion by Casey, second by Knobloch. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And this is a recommendation by the planning commission, and decision will be made by the city council at their August 2nd meeting. Thank you. Our next order of business is planning case 22-13, a site plan extension for Shopoff Industrial Building at 8840-80 Evergreen Boulevard Northwest, Shopoff Realty Investments. Mr. Crow.
All right, and then we have a second site plan extension. So here again, this one was also approved at that July 21st meeting. It's currently on, the address for the actual parcel is currently unassigned, but it's a newly subdivided lot out from 8840, 8880 Evergreen Boulevard, kind of highlighted there. And that plat was approved in case 2150. So again, just wanted to kind of show an image there. It was a proposal for kind of a spec industrial warehouse building. Again, a couple of conditions there that were attached to that site plan approval. In this case, the extension is being requested because the original owner, kind of, I think, given some of the market and financing that's happened over the past year, has decided to sell the land and kind of sell this plan to a new buyer. So if that buyer decides to want to stick with this original plan, and if site plan extension was given, they could kind of move forward. If the new buyer decides they want to do something else, then that would require a new site plan for the site, and that would void this site plan. So again, they just kind of were indicating that they were selling the site and not really moving forward, and kind of just requesting that approval for the new buyer there. And I would think they were anticipating construction to even start yet this year before the ground freezes. So again, kind of meets the, nothing has really changed, so it still meets the zoning code and our city standards. And so staff was recommending approval of a one-year extension of this site plan to July 21st, 2024. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Crowell. Commissioner, any questions for Mr. Crowell in this case?
Chair Schwartz, I have a question.
Commissioner Knobloch.
Mr. Crow, now, are we talking potentially a sale of the ownership of the applicant, or are we talking like a buy lease back of the building?
That I'm not sure. I know it would just, basically Shopoff Realty Investments had just indicated they want to sell the land to a new buyer. But yeah, I guess I'm not sure the whole details of the sale or the process they were, I guess, negotiating.
Yeah, it's just a common financial task where a business wants to extract the equity out of their building and then sell it and then lease it back to use it on this exact same, but they don't own the building anymore. It's almost like they're renting it. That's why I'm saying the buy lease back. But the only reason I ask is if whether it's one or the other, because if that has any impact to the submission of the applicant for the site plan.
Sure. Yeah, I guess Blair, I don't know if you have a comment. I don't think in terms of the site plan approval, if the kind of ownership changes, it doesn't really impact much. It'd be more if they were going to change the actual building plan or make any significant change, that it would go through a new site plan process. So it's really just kind of giving the option to the new buyer if they would like to move forward with this initial proposal that they could do that if site plan extension was given.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Buccione, Mr. Buccione.
Thank you. The way to think of this is, they teach you this in law school actually, is this bundle of sticks. And so this particular property is a bundle of sticks, and this one just has an added stick of a site plan approval that it could, if you wanted to build this particular building, add to that bundle of sticks. That doesn't mean they have to buy it and build that building, so. It's a little out of the ordinary because it's site plan approval being transferred and that sort of thing, but I'm confident it can be done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Kroll? All right,
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner
So
Schmokey.
I'm, Mr. Cole, I'm just trying to understand, so if we were not to make a motion to approve, I guess I'm not clear on what would that mean for the applicant, if someone could just explain.
Mr. Chair, it would just mean that it expires, so that
Okay.
if they don't get it done in the year, the site plans, they're supposed to make substantial progress or do anything, really.
Correct, and since no production has started,
Approval lapses.
approval lapses, thank you.
Commissioner, any other comments? Anyone ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Geisler.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that in planning case 22-13, we recommend approval of a one-year extension of the site plan to July 21st, 2024.
I'll second.
Motion by Geisler, seconded by Schmokey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. This is a recommendation by the Planning Commission and will be heard by the City Council at their August 2nd meeting. All right, our final case for the evening is Planning Case 23-15, a preliminary plat for Rapids First Edition, Rapids Industrial LLC. Mr. Kroll.
All right. Yep, in our final case tonight, the applicant is requesting preliminary plat approval. And this would create one lot for an existing industrial building and then two outlots. So the PID numbers for the different parcels we're talking about are in the staff report, and then I just tried to highlight them on a map here for reference. And again, these lots contain an existing industrial building. It's currently zoned industrial. So it would really be taking the three existing lots that are there and kind of replatting them into one lot for that existing industrial building and then creating two outlots. So you can see here that the current existing property line kind of runs right down the middle of that building. And so it's really to allow to have that building be on its own site and then kind of help the landowner prepare those other lots for any kind of future sale or any future development. So the plat that you will see tonight isn't associated with any development. There's no proposed development at this time. I made a note in our staff report that there is a battery storage facility kind of interested in one of the outlots. That's actually going to be brought forward in a work session next month to have some discussion with the Tenasca there. So isn't any kind of future development or any building permits and things for them to be issued, we can't issue them on outlots, so it's likely you'll see another plat kind of come forward in the future with any development. So again, no proposed development at this time. It's really just to help the applicant kind of prep the land for any sale or future development. Just to give a little overview, the total size of the site is about 24 acres. So lot one can kind of surround it here. Again, would house the existing manufacturing building. I believe Larson Manufacturing is the current tenant there. And it's about 4.5 acres. And lot one does comply with all the dimensional requirements for our industrial zoning district. Outlot A is this larger back lot, and that's about 16.5 acres. I made a note that kind of based on a wetland delineation that was done a little while ago for the site, that there's maybe about 9 acres or so of wetland on that site. And then there's also some gas pipeline easements and electric transmission easements and things kind of along the railroad there on the site that may impact where development could go on that outlot. And then outlot B is this kind of smaller lot down here, and that's about half an acre. And in all of both the outlots and the regular lot on the site, on the preliminary plat, do show all the correct setbacks for that industrial zoning district as well. This plat doesn't result in any additional development that could cause additional demand upon our recreation or park facilities, so we wouldn't be requesting a park dedication fee. But any kind of future park dedication fee may be collected with any applicable development in the future. And then Anoka County received this plat just because it does border a county roadway. And they had some comments there for the applicant that would really kind of be addressed in the coordination with a kind of a future plat when we would see development there. So I just kind of added it as a condition for something the applicant to be aware of, but isn't really something that needs to be addressed with this plat and would be more for the future. And so kind of with that, staff recommendation was to recommend approval of the preliminary plat with that condition, just to be aware of the Anoka County comments. So happy to answer any questions you might have, and I believe we also have the applicant here if you have any questions.
Is outlot B large enough for development?
Yeah, there was a proposal at one point where I think a smaller building could fit on outlot B. There's also been some staff level discussion if the lot across, what is that now, 95th Lane here were ever to be kind of purchased, could really be combined with outlot B. There's no, our city engineers indicated there's no utilities under 95th Lane, so we could really kind of just vacate that street and that right of way and really create one larger parcel for development. So that could be something that could be a possibility in the future. I think staff would try to encourage that outcome, but if not, it would be a slightly smaller development probably on outlot B.
Thank you. Commission, any questions for Mr. Kroll?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Geisler?
Mr. Cole, so as far as the diagram for the new plat goes, that southern flag there, as you kind of indicated with the wetland items, is there, I mean, that looks like it's gonna just be stuck to the outlot and be totally undeveloped, but is that providing drainage for the existing site as is? Or any sort of aspects there, because it looked like there was a depression kind of indicated there, and basically, what I'm wondering here is, they've carved off a very odd shape out of this instead of making some nice squares or regular 45 angles as to incorporate that flag to kind of limit the size of the property. Do you guys have any concerns around the fact that we're just kind of piecemealing this with undevelopable land?
Sure. Yeah, that was something I did ask the applicant when they initially submitted the application, just to see if that would restrict any kind of future development on this lot, or if the current tenant had indicated any future interest in expanding over here. They had indicated that there weren't really any future plans and didn't have a whole lot of concerns, and so I think they were just trying to be able to use as much land as they could on the outlot A, given some of the wetland impacts, I guess, because you're kind of talking about this area here, right?
I can't see it on there.
Or if
The
mouse-
little southerly.
Yeah,
tag.
this little
Yep.
kind of square. Yeah, so, it was something that we did ask the applicant on, but I guess I'm not as concerned because there don't seem to really be any future plans to expand that existing building there.
And if I may, previously we've had discussions about carving off areas to, all of a sudden we have outlots that aren't detached, and then they end up maybe not being maintained or not being paid for as properly? I mean, any concerns about creating some orphan lots around this?
I don't think we had any staff concern. The applicant has indicated they're gonna maintain ownership of all of these lots through this plat and maintain ownership of the outlots until any future development there. So I guess there weren't really any staff concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Chair Schwartz.
Commissioner Knobloch.
I have a question for Planner Kroll. On this lot, is it Lot A, I think? Yeah. Is this correct? I'm not familiar with this back part of the area, but it says here Burlington, Northern Santa Fe. Is there like a railway connection to the rail going through there? And if there is it still in existence right there, right now?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I don't believe there's a direct connection anymore on that lot. Maybe the applicant would.
There is not a direct.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's it. Yeah, there wasn't a direct connection there, but yeah, there still is the existing railroad there on the western boundary.
So at
Yeah.
one point in time, there used to be.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Is there anything the petitioner would like to add? All right. All right, we do need a public hearing in this matter, so at this time I will open a public hearing in planning case 23-15, a preliminary plat for Rapids Industrial First Edition, Rapids Industrial LLC. Anyone wish to speak to this public hearing? Anyone wish to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and limit comments to the commission. Commission, your thoughts, concerns, ideas?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Schmokey.
I will make a motion in planning case 2315. The motion is to recommend approval of the preliminary plat with the following conditions: that all Anoka County comments are addressed.
I'll second it.
Motion by Schmokey, second by Knobloch. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. This is a recommendation by the Planning Commission and will be heard by the City Council for decision on August 2nd. Good luck. And moving on to other business. Mr. Kroll, anything for other business?
Yeah, so for our August meeting, we will have a use flexibility case. There's a charter school interested in a location along Coon Rapids Boulevard. It's currently zoned general commercial and in our River Rapids overlay district. We don't currently permit schools in our commercial districts, but there is that use flexibility along the boulevard where a commission can recommend and the council approve a different use that isn't currently allowed in that area. So we'll have that on our main agenda, and then 2 work session items related to the Tenaska battery storage facility, and then an assisted living facility as well.
Thank you. And Commission, anyone have anything for other business?
I'll Chair Schwartz.
Commissioner Knobloch.
Since we have the, this is being recorded, but that we're missed, that Ron Bradley has left the position for personal reasons. So if anyone's interested out there, apply to the city for commissionership.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Geisler, second by Casey. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.